It's War Dragon time! Welcome back to another event guide with RPW. Today we're going to be going over really quickly the Fight Pits guide. Now, the first thing you must know is during the Fight Pits, like all other PvPs, an island will pop up, and inside of that island, it will open up all of these wonderful tabs. You've got your quests, your armory, seasons, prize ranks, and your battle tab. Now, the battle tab, if you scroll clear to the bottom, during the first round particularly, all players will be found at the very bottom, and then that is called the pit. Now, in this, you're going to be fighting to get out. Currently, we're in middle. We're not fighting hard, and I'll explain that to you in a moment as to what our particular plan is during this particular event. But first, let's go ahead and do a quick attack, and while I'm doing an attack, I'll tell you a little bit more about Fight Pits. Okay, first of all, now that we have the new wildfire attack, you're going to have the ability, once you've gained 80 flames, to be able to do a wildfire attack. Now, this is not something that's disabled in the last 15 minutes of the rounds. So this is something that you could save back for that. Now, in that particular retrospect, I suggest that you guys really hold back your resources until the last hour of each round. So I just do my basic attacks and I just kind of keep them going, so I'm not wasting any of my time of refills, and I really don't go all out. Now, I want you to see that I went down, and there's a reason for that. Sometimes players will ask for backup, like a level 90, for example. And they're going to go in and say, oh, well, she's a 213, so I'm going to take this 210. She should be able to take that out. Now, first of all, bases are not always built equally. Do not choose something by the base and expect your backer to take it out. A lot of times in PvPs, you're better off taking something that you personally can take than to expect somebody else to help you win a battle anyways, because there are a lot of times you're going to find where, first of all, somebody can't join you or something. So let's go over that. The biggest mistake I see during these events is people backing each other way too much. And I can prove to you in this little formula that I've put together for you that that is not the best plan. Of course, one reason for this, like I had just said, was because if you can't finish that base out yourself and somebody else goes in and they fail, then you're likely going to be screwed out of your points. But there's another great reason that you should be taking levels that you personally can beat. And that is because of this. Let's say for a moment we have 20 players that are on at the same time. We've got 5 from level 10 to level 40. We've got 5 from level 41 to level 80. We've got another 5 from level 81 to 120. And then we've got 5 other players that are boosting up over a level 120. And when I say this, I don't mean their levels, but like what they can, personally defeat on their own. So you've got these players, you've got 20 of them. Now, there are some options. Everybody can go out at the same time and do their attacks at the same time and be responsible for their own attacks. However, it is so often that I see where players, especially lower level players, that are afraid to do anything by themselves. They're literally waiting for someone above them to help them. I have personally seen where somebody goes, well, since there's nobody here, I guess I'll wait till tomorrow. No, you're wasting energy. Go in, even if it means taking out a level 10 if you're a level 50, and get yourself 40 points, which is better than 0 points. You're wasting your energy by letting it sit on 16. So always go in and do your attacks. Do one if somebody comes in, maybe they can back you if they're not doing their attacks, and so forth. However, in the last 15 minutes, everybody should be doing their own attacks on levels that they can manage together versus backing each other up. And I'm going to show you why that's the case so that you can see how detrimental this can be for your team. Now, granted, lower level players can get a little bit of help of that on their personal achievements, but not a whole lot. Okay, if you'll focus on the pink group at the top left, if they have 5 players that can get at least 120 VP points, then all 3 of them together with 1 attack each is going to bring in a total of 600 points, which doesn't seem like a lot, but trust me, it will add up. Then on the top right, we've got level 81 through 120, bringing in a whopping 500 points. The bottom left would bring in a total of 400 points at 80 VP points per attack. And then on the bottom right, you're looking at 60 VP points per attack at level 300. And this is just an average. But this will bring in a total of 1,800 victory points for your team. So this is a lot of points for your team, whether it seems like it or not, especially considering in this retrospect, we're talking about 20 players of an upwards of 50 players maximum per team. Now, with this being said, what if level 10 through 40 and 40 through 80 really did not want to play unless they had backup, and that's all they waited for? And those above them were willing to back them on every attack. Well, not only would they be wasting loads of heal potions, but look at the amount of points they're going to get together. So the bottom left would end up with a total of 600 points because the level 121 might be able to help them finish. And on the bottom right, they would get a maximum of about 500 points because the ones above them would be able to help them finish. Maybe. Well, let's see just how many points that is. That's a total of 1,100 victory points, which is much less than the other by 700 points. That is a lot of points. And remember, this is one attack each. Now, is that 700 points really going to make a difference? Well, it most certainly can. If you have 20 attackers making 1,800 points and they do 4 basic attacks, that would give them a total of 7,200 points for everyone putting in an effort together. However, on the other hand, if you only had 10 attackers with 10 backing, that is only a total of 4,400 points after all 4 basic attacks. So it really does add up. Would you rather have 7,200 points in a certain time frame, or would you rather have 4,400 points in a time frame? So a lot of lower levels need to learn to get out there and become more willing to try to do attacks on their own. Because if not, your team is going to make 2,800 points less with the other strategy. I completely understand why you would want to get, bigger points, but try to do those during your basic attacks throughout the time that you're waiting, and save these back to do your own personal attacks in the last 15 minutes whenever, for example, the mega coin has been disabled. Now, that is one thing that our team does. That is our biggest strategy, which is doing your basic attacks as the energy comes in. And then once the last 15 minutes is here, refill yourself, an energy pack or whatever, put out there your inner fires and get your points that way. And the reason is because then you're less desirable to other teams. You don't have the VP points they want to steal. Then by the time the last 15 minutes is up, you and the players on your team are going to have loads and loads of resources where everybody else has already spent what they have. Now, this is very useful as a tip if you're on lower level leagues. However, the higher you grow into the leagues, the more, teams that are using the same strategy. But that also means if you're not using the same strategy, then you're not protecting yourself from those that are. All right, guys, so that is it for today's guide video. Don't forget, I already actually have a very, articulate, or I should say, a more explained in detail video, especially for low level players when it comes to the fight pits. And if you'd like to see that, be sure to go over to my playlist, click event guide, and if you scroll down, you'll see the fight pits guide. So be sure to check that out before you go. Now, as promised, today is Thursday and the event guide video, of course, and I just finished up the drawing, so let's move on over to that. And before we announce the giveaway winner today for this prize, I also want to point out that these prizes do go out weekly. I have a drawing on my Talk Dragon Tuesday every Tuesday, so be sure not to miss it. And they're very, very easy and fun. And then, of course, whoever wins will get a random $20 in-game pack from War Dragons. These prizes are not distributed by myself. However, the winners are provided by me to War Dragons to send out. This is their way of supporting their Creators Faction members and those that are there supporting them as well. So the first thing I did was go through and make the list of names. And we definitely had a lot of names on the list this week, and I thought I would make it a little faster just by writing it down than showing you whose names was on here. And then I went through and cut them up. So usually what I do is I like to write out the names, that way you guys can see that your names are actually in something and that you're actually putting in for a real drawing. It's not just anything randomo or anything, and it's very fair. I think this way, even if you're a family member or a friend, usually I don't feel too terrible to put your name in here, or if you're on my team, for example. So I went through, cut everything up, and I added it to a cup. Hey, that rhymes, guys. And I just went through and randomly chose every little name here and wadded it up in a ball and tossed it in the cup. Now I decided to cut the cup because you couldn't see me throwing the names in here. I figured that would make it a little easier. But after I get through with writing these in, of course, I like to shake it up and draw a name. Now, if you have not been a part of this, I know I've got a lot of people that view and like this and not nearly as many names. Be sure to put your name in here because these prizes do go out. In fact, any past winners, be sure to put a comment below and let them know that these are real prizes. Okay, so let's divvy these out and shake them up and put them back in the cup. And we're going to draw out our winner. All right, so wonder who's going to win today. Grab out a name here. And it looks like it's going to be Tarnok. Congratulations, Tarnok. All right, so your name will be sent up to War Dragon so that they can send you your $20 in-game pack. Now, these are randomly done. It'll usually be a $20 game pack that you see within the game, and it should help you with the current PvP event. So be sure to check it out and keep an eye on that for the RPW weekly giveaway prize. It should hit your account, I would say, by Sunday night. If you haven't got it by Monday, be sure to message me personally, and I'll get a hold of War Dragons about that and see what's going on with your prize. Alright guys, that is it for today's video. Before you leave, make sure you leave my video a big thumbs up, and don't forget, if you're not already subscribed, to subscribe to my channel and hit that bell for notifications. Happy hunting!